On the 25th of August, Sunday, 2019, members of IPOB from Canada, Ottawa, were sworn in. High-ranking officials came from all over the country, including some African countries, to take part in this very important ceremony. Kudos to our women who cooked very delicious meals, and the meal went round to everybody. As you can see from the screen, the weather was pleasant, the mood was nice, and everybody was happy. Happy viewing, folks.
God bless you all as you gather. Yours truly, Mazi Festus Ibe, Coordinator, IPOB Ottawa Final. IPOB,
one family.
IPOB,
One family.
IPOB,
One family.
one family.
IPOB.
All hail dedicated Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
IPOB.
One family.
IPOB.
One family.
IPOB.
One family.
Thank you, everybody present here. My name is Onyeka Chinwakweze. I'm the Ontario coordinator. And I want to use this opportunity to thank our able coordinator for Ottawa, Mazi Festus Ibe, and all members of his ESCO and those present here who are family members of Ottawa family. I want to also say that I'm aware, with the extent that this family has gone over a very short period of time. They've really done well to promulgate this gospel of the restoration of Biafra. And I want to encourage them by saying that the Ontario family will always be beside them to support them in everything that they are doing towards getting to our preferred destination, which is Biafra. Before we proceed, like he rightly mentioned, today we shall be administering our oath of allegiance. Our oath of allegiance is a prerequisite for everybody or for anybody who wants to be a member of the indigenous people of Biafra, a registered family member. This family started in a way it started. And in a day like this, it is being set out that during this inauguration, every family member of Ottawa, just like each and every one of us has done, will take an oath of allegiance. This oath is like every other oath, just like in the zoo, the National Assembly members, the senators and the rep members, they took oaths to defend one Nigeria. That is why when some of you say, why are the senators not talking about Biafra? Why are the House of Rep members not talking about Biafra? It's because of the oath they took. And the oath we are going to take today, I believe each and every one of us will take it. We'll take it always, especially when we come to meeting, because you can't sit in our meeting without taking the oath. So every day we renew this oath each time we gather. It doesn't have overdose. So today we're also going to partake in the oath taking so that everybody will know it's not a different thing that we are doing. But before I proceed on that, we have our national coordinator in the person of Mr. Tim Okafo. We also have our deputy national coordinator in the person of Chief Collins Ogoke. And we also have our national secretary in the person of Princess Joy Ochiaboto. We also have our Quebec coordinator, a very formidable Biafran, in the person of Chief Emen Ogoro. I'm the only one that is not a chief. But I will make a special arrangement.
You'll get there.
Okay. By God's grace. So having said all this, our national executive, I believe they have one or two things to tell each and every one of us today. because they are in this event and they have something to say. So I will give the microphone to our national coordinator and the person of Nzeti Okafo.
IPOB,
One family.
IPOB,
One family.
IPOB,
One family.
one family.
IPOB.
Thank you, the formidable Ontario coordinator, Onyeka. Thank you, the entire family of Ottawa. Thank you, the entire family of Quebec. Thank you for taking out your time to be here, and also all the members that traveled from Toronto to Ottawa. First and foremost, let me touch a little bit on what Mazoniak has said about the oath. The oath is the glue that holds us together. It's a covenant where we all meet as Biafrans. What it simply means is that you must have the back of a fellow Biafran. It's a play we make all the time. A commitment to be your brother's keeper. That is all it means. In a simple terms, it's a commitment we make to ourselves and our brothers as we seek the restoration of the nation of Biafra, that we do not let ourselves down, neither shall we let our brothers and sisters down. It's a commitment, it's a lifetime commitment. The reason why we use the word Chukwukika Abiyama is because the entire old eastern region believe in God the Father. Be you a Christian, be you a Judaist, be you a traditionalist, we believe in Igbo culture we have cheese, the small gods. God for yam, God for that, but there's also the great Chi, Chineke, Chukwukika Abiyama, Chukwu Onye Okike. You go to the Christian. The Christians believe God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. As you even go further to Judaism, they believe in only God the Father. So there's one glue that holds all of us together, and that's God the Father. So when we take this oath, we take the oath in the name of Chukwu Okike Abiyama. For people who are not conversant with that particular word, if we enlivens our conscience, the conscience that we as a people take an oath and we eat together, it consummates a bond, a covenant before us. So that's the starting point of a journey of a Biafran as we move along this path. I want to touch on three things before we take the oath. And the first thing I want us to remember is what is called being a team member. What is the meaning of being a team member? A team member is what in a nutshell is teamwork. It's very important in the life of a family. If you are in a choir and you're singing and your voice becomes dominant, then you're not a team player. So when people listen to a choir sing or an orchestra, every voice is measured. You must not be noticed more than the other people. If there's a task to be performed, even though you finish first, you must wait for the others because the final product is what matters. So if you are here, so is also in the military. It has to be teamwork. You have to carry everybody along. More so for the executive, the principal servants. If there's anything you want to offer this family, but that is going to bring division. Do not bring it. No matter what it is, if you can go get all the Biafrans in the world, but in the process, it divides the three that are already here. Please, we do not want it. It's against the oath we take. And that's the whole essence of teamwork. We want to work as a team. When you work as a team, you will always succeed. And the second takeaway I want to give to you people is the aspect of gossip. There's no bullets, there's no guns, but it's a dangerous, dangerous, divisive means amongst people. If somebody calls you and start to tell you about somebody, that's usually the starting point. A is bad, B is that. If you want to help this family, tell him, I do not want to listen. Anything outside the agenda of the meeting is gossip. It's simply gossip. It divides families, it divides friends, it all creates division. So, and if you want this family to prosper and engage for the sole aim of why it started, gossip must not find any place in your heart, in your family, in your mouth. And the third takeaway is evangelism. We've seen cities when people begin to evangelize, they start on things that divide. Oh, why are you praying in the name of Chukwuka? Oh, Jesus is not God. For God's sake, those things are divisive. Preach the gospel. And that gospel is a holistic gospel that this nation, Biafra, must be restored. One of the things we've seen is that these things, we do our job, but God is there, it's a divine mandate. What we've noticed is that 7, 8 years ago, this young man, Ohamadike, saw something people couldn't see. Even people that stood on the hill didn't see what we're seeing today, the complete Islamization and Fulanization, murderous tendencies, complete economic meltdown, and all the things that are taking place today. You no longer need to go too far to begin to tell people that they are Jews, they need their homeland. The event itself is very explanatory. What it means is that you tell people on the events that are taking place, it's enough to convince them. When Mazen Nandokano came here, the atmosphere was electric. The energy that generated, you don't need to do a lot talking for people to understand really what you're saying. People are beginning to understand it. So deal with facts that are verifiable, facts that are known to everybody. And we don't want people to go out there and be a nuisance to people, because we had people who said, all these IPOB people are miscreants. We want people to behave themselves. There are things that we say when we finish and we go to the town. You tell people the eyes of men are on you. You have to be a very good ambassador of IPOB. You are called because you are special. That's why you got the message first. That you understand what you understand now doesn't mean you're smarter than other people. It means that God chose you and made you understand the gospel before other people. And if it doesn't call to look down on them, it calls for you to help them get to where you are. What it means is that someone is upset, oh, don't tell me IPOB. Do not confront the person unless you know that that person is enemy of Biafra. It might take simple explanation, analogies, if you can get more information from other people and be persistent. And that's how you gradually, you convince people. We are not Islamists that force people to believe. we convince people, and we have enough to convince the people to join IPOB. And when they join, one thing is to get a new customer, another thing is to retain the customer. If they come in here, the things they see here will determine if they're going to stay or if they're going to leave. So I'm calling on you, and I hope you and the executive will make sure that whatever people we get in here, we continue to stay and bring more people. And I pray in the name of Chukwu Okike Abiyama that this family, we've seen it in Montreal, the spirit is what cultivates the growth. It is a healthy spirit among you. It is comradeship. If we understand that when one of us is having pain, that we feel the pain and go to rescue him, that's going to grow this family. And I pray that Chukwu Okike Abiyama will bless all your efforts. In Chukwu Okike Abiyama we pray.
Amen.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
Thank you, my Igbo National Coordinator. Our National Coordinator, they said we are miscreants. Our National Coordinator is a seasoned accountant. You know, we are not miscreants. It's because they don't like what we are doing. If I name that is why they are, you know, saying that we are miscreants, but we are not. Thank you very much, National Coordinator, Deputy, and we figure going, National Secretary. All right. Chief Emen.
Yes.
I know you must have a word.
IPOB,
One family.
IPOB,
One family.
one family.
IPOB.
First, it looks like I'm the only one here with a cranky voice. And I'm the only one yawning. So that's why I decided to step out from there, so I won't be facing the public yawning. Let me yawn towards my chief coordinators. The reason was very simple. And the Ottawa coordinator you have to learn, and the new guys we're going to inaugurate today. To be a member of IPOB, you must have two things working for you: challenges and sacrifice. You take up a challenge and you sacrifice towards it. As a matter of fact, I worked last night. I came home 6:30 in the morning. Before I could sleep, probably 7 a.m. Because every day I go to bed, I think a little bit about my Biafra. What can I do to her? I wake up, I slept, I set my alarm 2 hours. I wake up at 9, arrange my kids, bathed, went to pick some of our members, then we are ready to come. Only 2 hours sleep, that's why I'm here running. Even though I took some coffee, it didn't work. So I know my body needed sleep. So that means I took up the challenge and I sacrificed for it. That is what IPOB is all about. And who encourages me? Who encourages me is our able leader, Mahamadike. He took up this challenge and look at how much he's sacrificing. Don't just say you're an IPOB member. No, it's a sacrifice that matters. IPOB Montreal was formed 29 December last year by the same guys you are seeing. Just exactly the same guys, maybe one or two missing. And we are only 9. Today we are 42. Within 8 months. Like our national coordinator said, the spirit helps to bring those people in. Because if there's chaos and if they experience a kind of chaos, you know, most of them would like to step back and watch.
Bluetooth disconnected.
And more people are promising me, hey man, let's watch you guys. You guys can get yourself together, we want to be a member. because it's becoming obvious in any city where there's Igbo organization, there's always a problem arising, and that's what we need to stop. We in Montreal, they just inaugurated us, and all of a sudden it's like the challenges just keep coming. The national coordinator, within a few months, he called me. He said, we were observing Heroes Day in Toronto. What do you think? I said, yes, I'm taking up the challenge. We'll come down to Toronto. And we did, with a lot of sacrifice. Man, I was just 5 months old, and he called me. Within 4 months, he called me. He said, what do you think? Madike is in US. Do you think? What do you think? I would like to invite him to Canada. He's a witness. Do you think you can handle it? I said, not only can we handle it, please, I want you, do not lose this opportunity. Let's bring him, just 4 months old. And Madike tell me, Montreal performed exceedingly good, and even Madike recognized us. And he will testify. I have personally called him more than 3 times, challenging him. I said, Tim, please, this is summer. Make sure you make an effort for us to go inaugurate those guys in Ottawa. Because you can never know their strength until you inaugurate them. Just that they didn't know our strength in Montreal until they inaugurate us. For you guys in Ottawa, don't take one thing for granted. Actually, Ottawa is the capital of Canada. So actually, Ottawa, one DCI, Ottawa. Never disappoint. Have history. Yeah, seen our Obido in Toronto. Because I can see NDC of Ottawa. When our government officials will be coming, when we get there, they'll be coming to Ottawa.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
Thank you very much, Chief Emir Uguru, a very formidable Biafran, a very practical Biafran. With what he has said, is a confirmation. But before we proceed, there is something I just want one point I want to make, and that is the issue of funding of IPOB. Lest we forget. IPOB does not receive donation from any government of the world. We don't have politicians who are sponsoring us. We do not also have big men, in quotes, who are sponsoring us. Majority of the things we do when it comes to money is self-funding. And part of the monies that we pay today is for our radio. Everybody knows we have a radio, which is Radio Biafra. Is there anybody here that doesn't know how to listen to our African rep and is preaching the gospel? Then I want to also tell us that part of the monies that we pay when it comes to our dues, our monthly dues, which is just minimum of $30 every month. These monies are used to pay for our legal fees. You know, we have cases all over. Our people are being detained, our people are arrested, our people are killed. We have people who have lost their parents. We have orphans. We have widows who have widowers. The monies that I and you pay today are used to pay for our cases, treat the injured. Then you have meeting. That person must take the oath of allegiance. The person, if he has a problem with the oath and he wishes to go home and think about it and come back before he takes the oath, we have issues like that everywhere. The person is at liberty to do so. So we don't force people to take this oath. Even right now, I'm going to read out the oath. Do you have it in print? No. I'm going to read it out for everybody to hear. So if after hearing it and you are standing here today and you know that there's a likelihood that you will go contrary to what is contained in the oath, you can step back to your seat, and those that are ready to take the oath will go. Like I said, we've all taken the oath, and there is no day we hold meeting that we don't recite the oath and reaffirm it. I will read. I, Onyeka Chinwa-Akweze, hereby solemnly and voluntarily swear to be absolutely loyal to the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra and Director of Radio Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, and that I will never engage in any act of insubordination. Neither should Nnamdi Kanu be insubordinate to the citizens of the indigenous people of Biafra, or do anything to jeopardize the Biafra restoration. I also swear to be truthful and honest in all our undertakings, and will never do anything to betray the cause of the restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra. I swear that I will never endanger the life of my fellow principal officer or any Biafra working assiduously for the restoration of the Biafra sovereignty as led by Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If I go against any of these, may Chukwuokika Biama strike me dead and completely wipe out my family and my generation. In Chukwuokika Biama's name, I swear. Ise. Haven't heard this. Is there anybody here?
I would like to say something. A second, please, if you don't mind. For you guys who want to take this vote, you will take this vote with all your heart. I know that you are there for the Biafran struggle. I'd like to give examples whenever I get new people coming. As I'm standing here, I'm a married man for 20 years with 4 kids. I took the vote because I believe in the struggle. You can see among my Montreal company, you can see a Catholic nun among us. So your leader do not it's your heart, and she took the vote. Bring up from your heart, take the vote, and live in the struggle. And God bless you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Emel Ogoro.
Do anybody have any question relating to this vote?
Do you have any concern? Anybody has any concern? Do you have any question? Do you have any doubt? I will not be still say you can one day you will give this our information. You know.
Well, any question, any aspect of it you want to ask a question for? Okay, if that's no question, then we can proceed.
Please let us proceed. When I say I, you're going to say I and put in your name, coordinator. When I say I, you're going to say I and put in your name. The male should take off their hats. And I want to say that if you are in this hall today or you are standing out today and we are taking this oath, whether you recite it or not, this oath abides in you. You are committed to this oath. You may born you recite it or not. You have come out today and everything about this oath abides in you. Can we start, please?
You have to raise your hand.
And let them do it one, so when it says I, you start your name and just go around.
Okay. I, Onyeka Chinwa-Akweze.
I, Festus Ibe.
I, Chijioke Ike.
I, Bad Chukwueze.
I, Fine Akodo.
I, Chief Sir Obinna Francis Chukwu.
I, Paul Imosule.
I, Christian Chukwuchin also.
I, Christian Henry.
I, Ngozi Okanko.
I am watching the very Walter.
I, Nnamdi Chukwu.
I, Stella Nkendera. I, Ipobottawa. I, Chinyere Onyogo.
Hereby solemnly and voluntarily swear to be absolutely loyal.
Okay.
What about you?
Oh, I, Emmanuel Loko.
Hereby solemnly and voluntarily swear to be absolutely loyal to the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra.
It's complicated.
Hereby solemnly and voluntarily swear to be absolutely loyal to the leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra and the Director of Radio Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, and that I will never engage in any act of insubordination. Neither should Nnamdi Kanu be insubordinate to the citizens of indigenous people of Biafra. or do anything to jeopardize the Biafra restoration. I also swear to be truthful and honest. In all our undertakings. And I will never do anything to betray the cause of the restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra. I swear that I will never endanger the life of my fellow principal officer. Or any Biafra working assiduously for the restoration of the Biafra sovereignty. As led by Onyendumazi Nnamdi Kanu. If I go against any of these, may Chukwuka Abiyama strike me dead and completely wipe out my family and my generation. In Chukwuka Abiyama's name, I swear. I swear. He said. Welcome to the family of indigenous people of Biafra.
Welcome, Stella.
All hail Biafra. All hail Biafra. Fondi Bundigo. If I ever get that chicken, okay, all hail Biafra. We welcome you all into the family of the indigenous people of Biafra. You have taken a bold step. And I pray that you continue to be very resolute in this struggle until Biafra comes and beyond. Thank you very much, everybody. And Chukwuka Abiyama bless us all.
Biko, just a quick thing. A call to be a Biafran is a call to be obedient. Sister understands when you take an oath as a clergy, what it means, even though we say is command and control, we have no absolute command to force you to obey. So the crux of the matter is that you voluntarily decide to obey. So the key word in the struggle is obedience. Onyesiono is not the smartest. He is not the wisest. But there's a reason why God appointed him to hold this position today. No matter how stupid he is, please, I'm appealing to you to condone his stupidness. Somebody has to make a decision. He will get it sometimes right. He will get it sometimes wrong. But the fact remains that when a decision is made, that there's absolute conformity to the principles of indigenous people of Biafra, which is oneness. That oneness entails that when we say there are all these beautiful ideas, but we say enough of this idea, that you understand that you must stop at that point. And that word means that we are orderly and we are disciplined. The key word is discipline. When myself and Nnamdi Kanu was driving to the hall, he looked around and said that this country was able to build this beautiful country on one single principle: discipline. Discipline entails not stealing money, be able to control yourself. Excesses of individual tendencies that are very selfish in nature. Being able to beat that side of your brain to understand the public good, the public good. The white people even care about the environment, the air we breathe. They could have bought so much oxygen and stored it in their house. But they're talking about the environment because they want not only sustain the planet now, but also sustain it for the people coming behind them. It takes a lot of discipline. So it's all about discipline. Nobody is going to force you to do anything. There might be disagreements. It's not against your oath, especially when there's discussions, because people get confused. How do we go to Toronto? We can go to Montreal to Toronto. We can go straight to Toronto. They are all alternative thoughts. But once that decision is reached, it binds on everybody. And nobody must dissent from that particular decision. That is the key word. Once again, I'd like to really thank all of you as we round up today, because soon we'll be getting back to Toronto. IPOB is always a meal. Even Jesus Christ, before he died, called his apostles and they broke the bread. We're using this cake to reaffirm our oneness. We will eat from the same plate. And the principal servant, it's funny we call our leaders principal servant, will help us cut this cake. And when he cuts this cake, I'm asking everybody, even if you don't like just a little bit of it. So I'm asking the coordinator to please step forward. We will cut this cake. You will cut this cake when we go from BIAFRA to the strength and unity of our nation, Biafra. We cut this cake to symbolize the beginning of greatness, as we count BIAFRA.
Coordinator now. Thank you, brother.
IPOB, 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 one family, all hail dedicated Biafrans. All hail Biafrans. Obi Sangre, I'm so happy to see all of us here from Toronto, Montreal, and so many places. Some people we invited them individually. It's not easy to honor an invitation. We are now entering into refreshment to make it easy, and at least it will be something that you like. We set a table behind here, so we have different kinds of food here. So it is better you serve yourself. You dish out what you want to eat and the quantity you want to eat, because it is a sin to waste the food. So we don't want to waste anything. So we want you to eat and get filled. So we have different kinds of food here. We have pounded yam, we have egusi, we have onugu soup, we have nsara soup there. We have fish, we have meat, and we have we have moi, a lot of them here. So we want you to enjoy yourself, please. We want you to eat so that we have strength, especially our friends that are going back, our members that are going back to Toronto. So I think from our escorts, they will just go and serve themselves and we'll follow them. Yes. Please. Correct.
Before then, from Montreal, we want to present Ottawa something.
ndị Montreal dị eme mma. Aga m Toronto ebe ka ha si wee buru moto nke m na-eke mgbe dị ebe a. Anya pụọ m ọkụ. Thank you so much. This is a presentation to Ottawa family. It's not an easy. NEC will give it to the family. Thank you so much. Thank you, Montreal. IPOB, meanwhile, as we are eating, we have a lot of drinks here. Ngasusu nkozo Igbo. Ngasusu nkozo Igbo. Mo se yen no na ko ada agota Igbo. Anyị nọ mmanya na-aba n'anya ebe a mana anyị na-ewepụta ya ewepụta maka ihe onyonyo na-enyo anyị. Ọbụna nke na-aba n'anya ka ị chọrọ.
I was 6 years old when we had that Biafran war. I lost my dad in that Biafran war. My mom was in charge of patrol during the Biafran war. And this my younger sister was saying something about Bob. We have so many organizations during the war. What he's saying, I have a clear vision right now.
So I wasn't lying.
When I lost my dad, my mom get into Biafra war because she was an air hostess with British Airways when this war came in. So they have an idea of how to get Port Harcourt as at that time. My auntie took me and my younger brother and my elder brother back home when we now left my mom. My father had gone. So you can see what we suffered during that war. So people older than me, about 10 years old, are those who goes to what we call raking. Then they will now go and look for people and where if the road is clear and come back and tell the freedom fighters. Because we have freedom fighters, we have the men people who are fighting. He even knows what I'm saying. So those ones at 10 years will now go, present little ones like us, but I didn't go. So that when the Nigerian soldiers, they might have a little mercy seeing young people coming very close. But towards the end of 1969, they were not mercy to anybody. But at the beginning, they were mercy for women and small children. But towards end of 1969, there was no mercy. And I'm standing here to tell you that the last place Ojukwu stayed before he took up Tuli, and is at Ezi in Isi Alambama. When he left Angara, the next place was Ezi, and it was through the night, through Angara, he used Tuli and took off. So our veteran, we thank you so much that God has spared your life and all our veterans. You remember, you are a hero when you die in the battlefield. Then you become a veteran when you come back alive. We thank God today you are a veteran. And we also pray that our God will spare our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, because there's some reason why God brought this young man at this point in time. And as we are praying for him, we also pray for Uche Mefo, DOS, and other people. Because without them, we may not have the zeal, we may not have the spirit. Because they are the people we look up to have the strength to pilot us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good afternoon or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be in your midst this evening. In fact, everyone has been struggling to prevent me from coming to here. I started making movement to come here about 3 hours ago. The GPS I'm using just turning me all around Ottawa. When I look at it, I say, well.
Chineke bụ ihe niile atọghị m otu triti dị ngozi Chukwu okike abịa mma. Anyị wụ ụmụaka gị ndị Biafra ekelele bụ anyị agbakọ ebe a taa. Lee ka mmekọ nwanne na nwanne si wee dị mma. Asị Chineke ihe ọbụla dị gị mma dịkwara anyị mma. I na-arịọ gị na ntọala nke a bịara atọ taa na Ottawa onye nwe anyị ọ ga-enwu ka ọkụ n'aha Jizọs. Ezi onye nwe na Chineke anyị ma onye ga-ebutere anyị mgbakasa n'otu a biko wepụga ya n'aha Jizọs. Chineke ịma na ihe anyị na-agbakọ maka ọdịmma ụmụ Biafra na ụmụaka Igbo. Mmegbu a na-emegbu anyị n'azụ Naịjirịa karịala. Iwepụtara anyị onye ndu Maazị Nnamdi Kanu nke nwere ọgụgụ isi dịka Solomon na-asị gị Chineke na-eduwe n'aha Jizọs, na-edu ọkpụkpụ ya na mbata ya na mbọ ndị iro ga-agbagaghị emetụ ya n'aha Jizọs. N'otu aka ahụ ka anyị na-ekpe n'isi ndị ndu anyị Festus Ibe nwanne anyị nwoke na-edu n'Ottawa, nye ya amụma ihe dịka isi nye Nnamdi Kanu, nye ya amụma ihe dịka isi nye Solomon, ka ọ ga-achị ndị a n'obi ụtọ. Onye nwe na Chineke ezigbote onye ndu ga akwụkwọ ezigbo ndị na-eso eso na ka ọ ga-ekwu ka ha ga-anụ. Onye nwe na Chineke emewu nwanne anyị nwoke si Montreal n'oge ha tụrụ ntọala na Montreal na ha dị mmadụ 9 ma taa ha dị ohe 2. Onye nwe na Chineke n'oge na-eti ha anya Ottawa ga-agbawanye n'aha Jizọs. Onye nwe na-arịọ mmadụ dịka Nze Tim Okafor onye ndu anyị Chineke nye ya amụma ihe, nye ya eziokwu, nye ya obi dị umeala ka o wee na-edu anyị. Otu a ka anyị na-arịọkwa n'isi nwanne anyị nwoke bụ onye ka Chineke na nke na-edu Ontario Province nyekwe ya mma ihe ka ọ ga-edu anyị nke ọma. Anyị onwe anyị ndị a na-edodo ka anyị nwee isi irube isi. Onye nwe na Chineke anyị na-arịọ ka anyị na-akwado n'ọwa Toronto ugbu a ma ndị gala Montreal, onye nwe anyị ka ụzọ gbuoro anyị isi n'aha Jizọs. Nke ga anyị hapụkwa ebe a ka ha nọ n'bisi ike n'aha Jizọs. Onye nwe na Chineke ihe anyị ga-adị ka ibe anyị ya akọla anyị. Ebe ọla anyị na-agba ihe anyị na-arụ Chineke mee ka ụzọ were anyị oghe. Chineke onye na-adị ka ibe ya iwe na-egwe ya. Ihe ọma anyị kwuru bịa n'ala ga-eru anyị aka n'aha Jizọs. Ụmụaka anyị mụrụ n'ala ga-abụ solushọn, ga-abụ problem n'aha Jizọs. Ndị nwaanyị anyị rụpụta nga Chineke agaghị ama ebe 911 nọ n'aha Jizọs. A ga-eburu fon ọ ga-abụ n'aha Jizọs. Chineke ọ bụ ụmụ nwoke bụ isi n'aha Jizọs. Onye nwaanyị na Chineke anyị kpochaa taa chi ga-eri. Ma otu ihu anyị niile dị iche iche ka akwa anyị niile dị iche iche sị bezuru na ọba n'aha Chukwu okike abịa ma ka anyị na-ekpere gị ugbu a na mgbe niile ebighị ebi.